Welcome to Somerset Weekly Wrap-Up for the week of March 13th to March 19th. A proposal for a 40B project was brought before the Selectmen on Wednesday night. Whetstone Hill Development LLC wants to build 48 condos off of Miller's Lane. 25% of the condos would qualify as affordable, which means they are making 80% or less of the median income in the area. 24 duplexes would be built off of Miller's Lane. The developer was at the Selectmen's meeting to request support from the board for the project. If the board does not support the project, the developer could ask for waivers from the state because the town does not have at least 10% affordable housing. The developer would give preference to the condominiums to at least 70% of people who live or work in Somerset if they apply for them. Resident Derek Richard expressed concerns about traffic in the area based on the location of the development. Richards would be an abutter to the property and said he has called the police and the fire departments about many accidents in the area over the years. Lynn Sweet, a 40B consultant for the project, said a traffic study has already been done on the area. The project would have to go to the Zoning Board of Appeals before approval. The Somerset School Committee, at its meeting on Tuesday night, approved a budget proposal for fiscal year 2026 that would represent a 3.51% increase over the current fiscal year. There was some debate at the meeting over whether a new world language program at the middle school and an instructional coach for the elementary schools should be left in the budget. After the discussion, they did decide to keep them in the budget. A public hearing on the budget will be held on April 1st at 6:30 p.m. in the Media Center at Somerset Middle School. Voters at the annual town meeting in May will have the final say on the budget. Somerset Chief of Police William Tedford has reported the successful conclusion of an investigation into a prostitution operation being run out of 2 rooms at a local motel. On separate occasions during the months of February and March, members of the Uniform Patrol Division of the Somerset Police Department began to take note of suspicious activity involving multiple guests at a local motel. Sergeant Michael de Moranville and officers Stevens Lima, Eli Fishbein, and Christopher Rodericks reviewed this information with members of the Detective Division and determined that multiple individuals were using rooms at the motel to conduct sexual activity with Johns, who had made arrangements to meet with them online. On March 17th, members of the Somerset Police Department Detective Division conducted an operation to end this illegal activity at the motel. Detectives determined the suspects had returned to the motel and were currently occupying 2 rooms in the building. Detective Lieutenant Jason Maddows, Detective Sergeant Nicholas Davidson, and Detective James Cardella set up a surveillance operation while Detective Donald Cormier contacted one of the suspects and made arrangements to meet. During this conversation, one suspect offered to perform a sexual act for money when Detective Cormier arrived at the motel. Shortly after, Detective Cormier knocked at the door to the room mentioned by the suspect and confirmed the suspect was who he had spoken with earlier. At that point, Detective Cormier identified himself as an officer, while the other detectives and Officer Tyler Patello made entry into the 2 rooms. 3 individuals were detained, identified, and later trespassed from the motel following the investigation. All 3 were involved in the prostitution ring and will be summoned to the Fall River District Court for the crimes of sexual conduct for a fee and conspiracy. An individual identified as Stephen Jameson was arrested based on 2 active arrest warrants. In sports, the Somerset Berkeley Regional High School boys basketball team won the Division II state championship with a decisive 65-44 win over Malden Catholic on Sunday. It was the first time the Blue Raiders have won a state championship in boys basketball in 71 years. Dom Taylor was the leading scorer for the Blue Raiders with 17 points to go along with 8 rebounds. Finn Bjork had 11 points, 17 rebounds, and 2 block shots. Colton Pacheco had 14 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. Brendan McDonald had 12 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds. Max Finlaw had 9 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 block shots. Alex Crook had 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals. Somerset Berkeley Regional High School boys co-op ice hockey team player Mason Sullivan has been named the most valuable player of the South Coast Conference. Sullivan, a senior defenseman who also played offense, had 10 goals and 15 assists for the Blue Raiders this past season. SBRHS coach Kevin Snyder said Sullivan was a strong leader on the team who the younger players tried to emulate. Mason is the brother of Davis Sullivan, who won the MVP award 2 years ago. The Bishop Stang Co-op girls ice hockey team, which includes 4 players from Somerset Berkeley Regional High School, lost 5-2 in the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association Division I State Championship game. The Spartans made a great run in the state tournament as a 15th seed. The SBRHS student athletes who played for Bishop Stang included Julie Pacheco, Megan Costa, Peyton Morosco, and Adrian Norcott. Tickets are now on sale for a fundraiser called Books, Brews, and Barbecues that will benefit the Friends of the Somerset Public Library. Award-winning pitmaster Matthew Pereira will be preparing ribs, chicken wings, macaroni and cheese, coleslaw, cornbread, and a dessert for the menu that will be served at the Somerset AmVets Post, located at 65 Brayton Avenue on April 26 between 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. There will also be basket raffles, a pop-up bookstore, and live music from Kat and Jimmy. Tickets for the fundraiser are $50 each. Each ticket includes a barbecue meal and 1 drink of the person's choice. For tickets, people can call Liz Royas at 774-218-2428. Thank you for watching Somerset Weekly Wrap-Up. Tune in next week for more news from around Somerset.